Would you look at that? It almost looks like there's some type of dynamic lighting in this game. There isn't, but it almost looks like it, doesn't it? It looks like the sun is rising up, which that's not actually what it is. It's all that depth of field garbage. What's up, dudes and dudes to the internet? My name's Scythe, and we are back again for some more Trove on the PS4. The point is that the sound effects do suck. How y'all doing today, folks? Hope you're doing fantastic, wonderful. Hope this video makes your day even better. So we got some things to talk about in regards to Trove and stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. I talked about most of this stuff in the PlayStation, or not the PlayStation, in the Xbox and PC series. It's about time that we talk about it in the PS4 series, but I got a little bit more news to talk to you all about in regards to it, so don't worry, we're gonna actually get more information because some developments ended up happening. But anyways, before we get into any of that stuff, I want to say that we're going to be giving away 5 Streamer Dream Boxes today, so all you got to do to qualify is be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment in the comment section down below with either a funny story, your username, you know, something crazy, your favorite class, your favorite dungeon, whatever. It honestly doesn't even matter anymore. I just really like hearing from you guys and gals about what's going on. Tell me about your day. Yeah, how's about that's a requirement to win? That's kind of weird, isn't it? So anyways, folks, if you haven't already been keeping up, because I know that, you know, there's some of you that watch like one Trove series exclusively, right? So I have been pushing this ban feature, right? I've been pushing for a feature so that we could end up going into our club worlds and banning people that were being naughty and being really bad and stuff, because there's been lots of trolls around lately. What is with this guy? Seriously, what is with this jerk? Die already! I had this happen once before off camera, where I was actually fighting a boss that legit would not die. Like, he was actually regenning out, and there was no like regen towers or anything like that around. It's just weird. I don't know whether or not it's a bug or what, but in any case, I've been trying to push this feature into the game, right? I ended up actually making a forum post about it because, you know, I felt that there was a lot of people that wanted to have the ability to actually ban people from their club worlds, but they didn't know where to talk about it. So I ended up making an appropriate forum post for it, and everything was going good with it. You know, the majority of people actually that were posting on the forums did want the feature. However, there was a lot of negative comments from only a select group of people that actually kept making posts over and over saying no, 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 no. And I mean, the votes are in, guys and gals, the votes are in. But in any case, unfortunately, because of the toxicity of these people, the devs had to step in and actually close the topic. Hilarious, like seriously. Now you see why nobody ends up regulating the Trove forums. It's so toxic, you know. The people that are on those forums are people like me that have been playing this game for a million years. Except, unlike me, I guess they let it go to their heads or something. I don't know. But in any case, what ended up going about with all of that stuff is I can pretty confidently say that, you know, for lack of better words here, but I'm pretty confident to say that the devs are going to add this feature when they can figure out how to do it. Because I took a moment to actually take, to think about how difficult it would actually be for them to add this ban feature. Because the post that the dev ended up saying, you know, I'm not going to quote it or anything like that, but it pretty much was the same response that I ended up getting behind the scenes when I was trying to talk with the devs and say, dude, seriously, things are going crazy. Can you guys add this feature? And they were pretty much saying that, yeah, we would like to, but we're not exactly sure how we would do it. Now, you gotta understand, while I don't like, I'm not like some mega coder or anything like that, but at the least, you know, I've dabbled in it a little bit, and I know that Trove in itself is pretty crazy as far as the code is concerned. While we won't get into all of the details as to what ended up actually happening with this game, the short answer is that whoever was in charge of the Trove project, originally this game was actually going to be called Planet Crackers. Nobody would have played it, but originally, whoever was behind Trove's development didn't think that the game was going to end up being successful. An MMO voxel game not being successful. So shows whoever that person is got completely proved wrong by quite an obvious decision, honestly. I mean, a voxel MMO, especially an action MMO, like, seriously, it's just a no-brainer, right? But in any case, because of that, Trove is actually built on a very cheap game engine. And I kind of ended up talking about this in a little bit more detail in my latest PC episode, where I was mentioning how I'm pretty sure that Trove is starting to see the limits of the game engine that they actually have. And this band feature is one feature in particular where I can really understand and can really see that, you know, this engine's wearing out. That's why, you know, short answer is that's why there's not really that much in terms of new content, because what are they gonna do? You know, there's only so much they can do with the code that they've actually got in front of them. How could they end up developing anything more than what it is? But in any case, with the way that Trove works, here's kind of a quick idea. Is that, you know, I started thinking this morning when I ended up waking up, I started thinking, and I know that it's morning while this video is going up, but I'm recording this, well, I guess it's midnight, so it is today. But in any case, as far as the band feature is concerned, I could understand how, I saw that Infinium, I just don't care. I could understand how it would be something that would be very difficult for them to add, because if they actually added a simple feature of /club space ban space the username space the club name, right? If they ended up adding that command, how would that work? Because they would have to have that one singular text command would have to somehow stop people from joining your club world through portals. It would have to also stop people from joining their friends that are hanging out in that club world. It would have to stop people who have propped the club world, the pleb world. That's kind of what mine is, even though I don't really, because I don't have a club, right? I can say these jokes now, finally. But in any case, yeah, pretty much that would be the case. It's, not to mention the text commands as well, to actually join a club world. Like, they would have to try and figure out a way to make this one command change all that. And how would they change all of that in the first place? I don't know. I'm not a game dev, but the fact of the matter is that, it would definitely, like, I could see it being a headache, especially with this game's engine, because just to kind of put things into perspective, a friend of mine, Fall of Pluto, who's Fall of BMO now, BMO from Adventure Time, right? But in any case, he ended up kind of finding this rare item that doesn't really exist on the PC version. It was just one of the caterpillar mounts. It's not like something special or anything like that, but he actually has one of the original, when it first came into the game, where it's named fine, you know, the mount is just the exact same. It's like the battle caterpillar or whatever it is, right? And it's perfectly normal. There's nothing strange about it. But when you put it up on the market, it's spelt incorrectly. Because that kind of just blew our minds when we ended up seeing that. You might think, why? Pray tell. But it's because you got to understand that means that every item that's added to the game is separately coded to be in sync with another item. Meaning, what I mean by that is, that means that there is two completely separate items for each mount. There's gonna be the mount that's in your inventory that has the feature where it ends up unlocking stuff, and then when you put it on the market, it's a different item. Yeah, I know. That's really, really weird. It just goes to show how crazy this game's engine is, though. Kind of shows the limitations of it, right? Because I know I just keep talking about all that. But it kind of put things into perspective when I heard about that, because suddenly it was like, wow, adding a band feature would actually be, you know, quite the trial. Now, that said, I still think that they should do it anyways. Just get it over with, rip off the Band-Aid, underlay the code that's actually required for something like that, and I think that they will. You know, I can say pretty confidently that I'm pretty sure they're going to end up actually adding it over time. But that's where I've been playing this game for a very, very long time, and I understand that the development cycle of certain features like this, especially when it's not a priority to the devs, because obviously, you know, how does that actually benefit them financially? You know, they're a business first and foremost. I can understand their direction and thought process behind all of that. And because of it, it means that a ban feature is not going to end up coming to the game anytime soon because of the amount of work that would actually have to be involved in the man hours and stuff like that, right? And well, what can I say? It just kind of was like, wow, there's a lot to it, and kind of made me, you know, I've talked about, or thought about this, I guess I should say. I've never talked about it publicly. Maybe I'll talk about it another time if enough of you are interested in it. Let me know in the comments. But I kind of always thought that even though this game ended up just launching on the console and stuff like that, and I know that there's lots of people still into it, personally, as far as Trove's future is concerned, I say rip off the Band-Aid and release Trove 2. Just so that they could end up getting even if it's the same game, just on a better game engine, you know? I think in the long run, it would be very expensive for sure, but I think in the long run, it would end up being more beneficial because it means that they could take this game a lot further. But that's just my 2 cents about it, folks. I don't mean to ramble about something like that. That's just, you know, that's just an old veteran Trove player just kind of talking about stuff and just saying, these are kind of the ideas that I have where it's like, hey, I thought it was actually worth sharing. But I'm not trying to say that there is a confirmed Trove 2 or anything like that. I'm gonna die. And I'm not trying to say that this ban feature is going to end up coming into the game anytime soon. It may never end up coming into the game, but I sure do hope it does, because whew, as this game gets more and more popular, it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually manage this stuff. Am I gonna die yet? Am I gonna die yet? There we go. Oh man, see these enemies? Like, they just don't want to die. It's so stupid. I like how, like, they ended up, their justification, because the arcane and martial emblem back in the day would actually last for 10 seconds, something like that. But their justification for making it last like only 3 seconds is burst damage, when all it really did was make it so that we have to potion spam a lot more. It doesn't, you know, there's no complexity to this game whatsoever, and that's another reason why I think Trove 2 would actually be a good idea. Maybe they could take a couple ideas from Borderlands and actually have a couple different enemy varied types that actually require a little bit of, you know, player skill. Anyways, thanks for watching, folks. Very much appreciate it. Hope that you have a fantastic day. Sign on, stay epic.